Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this very late review of the new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album, Fishing for Fishies. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Australian psychedelic rock titans. Now, in their early days, I was a very skeptical young man when it came to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Honestly, I wasn't really into their first couple of albums, and even to this day, I'm just very casually into albums like 12 Bar Brews and Float Along, Fill Your Lungs. They're decent albums. They're certainly great psych rock albums, but I just think that the band has just evolved so much since then, and I've enjoyed so much what they've done after that so much more. No, it wasn't until 2014's I'm in Your Mind Fuzz that me and the Gizz kind of got on the same page. This was a spiraling, intense, in-your-face psychedelic rock album that just oozed personality at every turn. The I'm in Your Mind suite is the stuff of legend, and even deeper cuts like Am I in Heaven are just fantastic. But it was around this point that King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard started to get like a little bit of a creative streak rolling. They started doing these concept albums with different styles of music, and it really became hard to keep track of these guys. Paper Mache Dream Balloon was a very stripped down, acoustic album that I feel is honestly really underappreciated. It's just so catchy, and they instantly pick up this sound like they've been doing it for years. And of course, there's the never-ending spiral of insanity that is Nonagon Infinity. Honestly, I liked the album when it came out, and I've enjoyed it even more and more over the years, and it really put King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard on the map. And then, of course, there's the fabled 2017 run of 5 different albums in a year. There was the intriguing look into microtonal tuning on Flying Microtonal Banana. Of course, my personal favorite, the grisly and unsettling and completely over the top and kind of hilarious Murder of the Universe. There was the sort of underwhelming and jazzy Sketches of Brunswick East, which still to this day I'm not really that crazy about. Polygon Dwanaland, which I swear took the best elements of all 3 of those and kind of meshed into this very compelling album. And Gumboot Soup, which on its best day is better than most of those albums, especially tracks like Greenhouse Heat Death. Clearly, we're dealing with a hyper-prolific band right here, but then again, who isn't prolific these days in the garage rock and psych rock genre? And these new singles from Fishing for Fishies have really just been all over the place, like in the best way. Like, I'm sorry it took this long for me to get to this. I wanted to get to this last week. However, here we are now. Let's chat about this new King Gizzard album. This album starts off with its title track, Fishing for Fishies. A track that when I first heard it, really didn't know how to, approach it even. Like, this is far from where we left them last. Like, it's stripped down, it's bluesy, and it's just so freaking weird. But I mean that in, the best way. Like, I can't be mad listening to this track. I can't hate it either, even though it's not my favorite track here. It's upbeat, it's freaky, we got some great pick guitars, and the vocal effects are just so over the top. I mean, if you're not a fan of some of their more stripped-down albums like Paper Mache Dream Balloon, you're going to want to proceed with caution. But while this isn't my favorite track here, I still think that it really ushers in the sound of this album very nicely. And of course, as always, those harmonicas are a great twist. Now, it becomes kind of obvious very quick that King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are really having some fun with this album at any cost. Take, for example, the Bird Song. This one is a completely different sort of left hook from the band. It's upbeat and it's kind of sunny, but it's also totally out there. Like, in a weird way, I'm kind of getting some Black Moth Super Rainbow vibes here. It's upbeat, it's very bluesy once again, but King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, as always, are taking tons of risks. Not to mention, between all of this going on, there's a very strange positive vibe to this that I can actually totally groove with. And I don't even think those vocal effects are that much at this point, and these are the heaviest they get on the entire album. It's a bizarre sound, but it just kind of drives home the fact that these guys are one of the most dangerous bands in psych right now. And call me crazy, but Plastic Boogie might be the best track here. Of all the sort of electric blues that King Gizzard touched down on here, this is them going at it at the heaviest. This riff is absolutely killer. And these lyrics have gotten to the point where they're so whacked out and so out of control. I can't help but laugh a little, but I freaking love it. I would say that this is far from the band's most coherent album from start to finish, but I can't help but have at least a lot of fun with it. And hey, if this is what we're getting right now, I really can't complain because this certainly gets me up and moving. As a matter of fact, we get quite a lot of electric blues on here. Take Boogieman Sam. When they really want to focus in on a sound, goddamn do they ever nail it. Like, this track is so, like, in their wheelhouse. Like, it's just the perfect amount of experimentation for these guys. This funky sort of electric blues is just something I'm not really hearing anything like this right now. And that harmonica solo, once again, A+. It's a snappy tune with, once again, some really oddball lyrics, but King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are having fun, and so am I. And the synths floating through the background just add to the campiness of this album even more so, something I didn't really think was possible. I mean, if I could make like one slight criticism, I feel like maybe that last solo goes on a little bit too long, but that's just me. Still though, everything else here rocks. The Cruel Millenial is much more stripped down, and honestly a lot more straightforward as well. Like, from a distance, this actually kind of sounds like a cover. But honestly, I love the very pronounced bluesy vocals, which are some of the best of the bunch, honestly. Like, you have to give King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard credit. Their sound has evolved so much over the years, and it's touched down all over the place. But when they really focus and really, like, lock in on something, they know what they're doing. I mean, I can't stress this enough. This is a very campy, over-the-top album. And if you want something more serious from King Gizzard, I think that you're probably not going to be into this as much as me. But this is really fun. Once again, if I could make maybe the slightest critique, this one maybe goes on a minute too long, but I digress. This track's still a blast. There are a couple of tracks here that I feel like didn't need to be here, or just like are a little bit too out there for me. My least favorite of the bunch is probably Real's Not Real. Like, here, the band has taken the hardest of hard right turns. This is a much heavier track, a much grislier one as well. And usually I'm totally into when King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard put a little extra meat on their riffs and go a little heavier. Take, for example, their brilliant Planet B single. But this track is honestly kind of a disaster. The heavier riff that we get here is not nearly as intriguing as I hoped. And then we get this in-between psych rock, very sunny verse. Honestly, I haven't been this bored the entire album. And it's a shame because I actually love this one lyrically. As a matter of fact, lyric-wise, this might be my favorite track here. I think it's a really cool concept of someone's reality not being the actual reality. That's great, but everything else here, disaster. And honestly, I have the exact opposite problem with The Thing. Honestly, pound for pound, this instrumental might be my favorite here. From the bluesy verses to the eventual psych pop that kicks in, there's actually a ton to love here. But vocal-wise, this is like the most phoned-in performance here, so much so that it brings down everything else for me. And therein lies the problem with a lot of these King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard albums. They hop around from sound to sound very often, very quickly, at a moment's notice. A lot of these sounds they often nail. Take, for example, Paper Mache Dream Balloon, or Murder of the Universe, or about 5 of their other albums they've released in the last couple of years. But it's other albums, like Flying Microtonal Banana and Sketches of Brunswick East, where I kind of wish that they, evolved this sound a little bit more. Maybe did another album in that style and fleshed it out a little bit more. But no, they're probably not going to go this route again anytime soon, and this sound is just a little iffy at the end of the day. And by the time we get to a Karen, I'm asking, what the hell happened to this album? To be honest, though, I don't completely hate this track. It just confuses me more than anything. There's absolutely some funk still in there. It shows the funk is still alive in a big way, but the more robotic sound to this album, the very robotic underbelly is here, and it's here in a big way. And like I said, I don't really hate it. Mostly because the band do put in enough organic elements to keep this one a little satisfying. This track overall, though, still, it's not doing as much for me. Seems a little unfocused, and if you ask me, the whole last 2 minutes didn't really need to be there. And some of the later vocals are some of the more obnoxious of the album, but still, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are a fearless band, and this is another really strong left hook, even though I didn't absolutely love this track. But hey, one track that I do love and still love to this day is Cyboogie as a finale. This is so out there. This is easily the strangest track of the bunch. That's saying something huge. But the ice-cold grooves and the robotic vocals, they're just scratching all sorts of itches, no matter how strange they are. And while I didn't think so at first, I do still kind of get that bluesy vibe deep down. This album is all over the place and is definitely one of the stranger albums in the King Gizzard catalog. I don't think it's their worst, but I would actually probably recommend 4 of their 5 albums from 2017 before listening to this, and a couple of other albums as well. But still, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they are a fearless band. They are trying wild new things. Why are they coming out with a robotic funk album album that brings in some like electric blues. Like, I don't know. I'm not completely pissed that it's here. I kind of wish they maybe sat with this a little bit longer, but still, there's a lot of really great, fascinating, completely out there tunes on here. For now, I'm feeling a decent 7 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, as always, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you guys would like for me to chat about in the future. Until next time, have a great day, guys.